out 1 second. Can you step out? I'm on here. Um. Okay. So this video is a live video, but I'm gonna post it because I just want to put a bunch of information here. So it'll be on YouTube later, and I'll link it on Twitter and Instagram. So first and foremost, I really hope this is recording because I'm gonna be mad if it doesn't. So first and foremost, I want to post a link about Ty and Mia. They have a GoFundMe account right now. She was in a domestic violence situation, and she recently left everything behind, decided to pick up and go with her daughter. And they do have a GoFundMe, so I'm gonna put the link in the description so you can donate some money. And also, she lost her job during COVID, so she really can use the money. And this is not like a scam or anything. And if you want, you can actually follow her Instagram, which I will post also in the description. And if you can, because I know it's the holidays and people probably spent a lot of money, but if you can afford to donate anything, she will appreciate it for sure. Nothing is too little or too small. So make sure to check out her GoFundMe, and the title of it is "Help Ty and Mia Catch Back Up." So she says that she's reaching out because she recently left a relationship that has taken a toll on her emotionally, and she's struggling financially. And she's hoping to raise money for her bills and her rent because she has fallen behind due to her car being in the shop and for an extended period of time having no access to a rental. And she also said she had lost her job during COVID, and she's trying to rebuild at this time and catch up on all her bills. She's trying to pick up all the pieces, and she's trying to get stability right now and get back into her apartment, back to how it used to be. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you can donate to her, because the link is going to be below. And then also, I want to get into a thread that I had on Twitter. Before, when I posted this thread on Twitter, I won't say it went viral, but it did end up on CNN for some reason. But it was about the state of New York, not the state of New York, but like the state of New York as far as what's happening in New York. So the thread started off with me saying like New York City wasn't how it used to be, simply because it's not. There is a lot of violence. I'm not going to blame it on Democrats or Republicans. I'm going to blame it on how money is being budgeted in the state and within the city. We're all aware of gentrification. It pushed out a lot of eccentric people as well as eccentric businesses. And that's just not in Queens. That's within all the boroughs. I think everyone is experiencing that. Not only that, they closed down a lot of mental facilities, and they stopped budgeting for with people that have mental illnesses. Therefore, a lot of people with mental illness are either sitting in jail for being mentally unstable, or they're out on the street mentally unstable because they have been placed in homeless shelters with no job, no rehabilitation, no funding for anything. And they are walking around the city on the trains. And that's pretty much why we're seeing people doing crazy things all the time. There's no real facility to withhold them and rehabilitate them. So this is kind of what happens. And then you also have an issue of homelessness in the city. Within the homeless shelters itself, they're not clean. A lot of them aren't accessible, and they have a lot of restrictions as far as who can actually stay there. So therefore, you find a lot of homeless people living on the streets of the city or living within the subway system because it's too cold to be on the street. And instead of tackling this issue, New York City decides to remove benches from platforms within the subway system to prevent homeless people from sleeping on the bench. Like, that is not helping the problem. That is creating a problem and ignoring a problem that currently exists. And with that being said, we have homeless shelters here that are popping up within communities. And not only are they popping up in communities, but they're taking over the space of former hotels. Hotels and motels are now housing homeless people that we're considering shelters. Now, Although the restrictions are really complicated to get in a shelter, what makes it even more crazy is some are just for families, some are just for women that deal with domestic violence, and some are just men's shelters. Now, the issue is that because they're housing them inside of hotels right now, these hotels are literally situated near schools, libraries, and public parks. Now, I know you're probably thinking, like, oh, boom, that's not a big deal. But what makes this situation a huge deal is because a lot of men that are in the shelter do have criminal records, and a lot of them have been arrested for, if you can imagine, molestation, all these different things, and then you have them in a shelter located near schools. They did what you call it, a report on the homeless shelters in New York City and how a lot of these individuals were placed in areas near schools, knowing they are registered sex offenders. Not only is it terrible for the communities, but it's terrible for the parents as well because their kids are either going to school or are hanging out in parks where there are men there that have been charged with any kind of, like, whether it's sexual abuse, child abuse, and it's just like it's crazy. And not one time did Bill de Blasio or anybody who runs the homeless shelters even say to themselves, like, hold on a minute, let me see what's going on. Let's take a bigger look at what's happening. They never did. So we have community board number 3. I'm hoping I have the right number. Community board number 3 normally has a meeting every month, once a month, sometimes twice a month. And they cover areas like Elmhurst, Corona, East Elmhurst, and Jackson Heights. Now, you would think that there will be some outrage. And the truth is there is some outrage, but even within the outrage on this board in the conversation, no one ever decided to go forward and speak to the council member. And you want to know why? Because the council member gets money for having these shelters in this area. It's like they almost get a tax break. So regardless of the safety of the children, like, children are being neglected because of this, but the money was more important than the safety of the kids in the daycare or the safety of the kids in the school or in the playground. Now, to make matters worse, the shelter that is now the hotel, well, the hotel, which is now the shelter, they have a lot of people that, they take advantage of the things that are nearby. So, of course, they go to the park, they go to the stores, they go to the restaurants, and it's all fine, dandy. It's not an issue. But what is an issue is they shoot up, because I'm not saying everyone is the same, but a lot of them are, suffering from drug addictions, not all, but some, whether it's drug addictions, loss of jobs, whatever. But in this case, a lot of them go to the local school, the local playgrounds, and they do shoot up types, drugs. They do drugs in the park. They leave their, stuff behind. And, kids shouldn't have access to it or even see it or even know what it looks like. But they're always located within the park because, again, no one cares. So with that being said, that's going to always be an ongoing issue. And it really doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican. It's all about just having common sense and being a human being, which a lot of city officials in New York City don't know how to do either or, which is unfortunate. But again, it's life. It's just not New York. It's everywhere. So that is pretty much why I said what I said on Twitter. And aside from that, another issue that I think that we're all really faced with right now is the fact that inflation is a very real thing. If you don't know, the price of milk went up, the price of eggs went up. Not only that, in New York City, there's going to start being a congestion pricing fee to go into certain parts of the city during certain hours. Poor delivery drivers and businesses that need deliveries during these hours that's going to be hit with these $20 fines or fees just to cross into Manhattan or certain parts of Midtown. It's disgusting. So on top of that, we have inflation. With inflation, private schools, the prices go up. Charter schools, the funding doesn't really go up, which means less kids get to go up in there. Who is this? I don't know who this is, but hello. I don't know who this is, but hello. I don't know. Okay. So, what was I saying? So we're dealing with inflation. We're dealing with rent going up. We're dealing with transportation going up. We're dealing with utilities going up. We're dealing with healthcare prices going up. And we're dealing with jobs going down. We're seeing a decline in jobs, right? And we're seeing a decline in how much these jobs are paying people. Like they're barely, and I mean barely, giving people promotions and raises. So while everything else goes up in New York City, your paycheck stays the same. How is that fair? Not just New York City, it's other cities. But I'm speaking specifically on New York City. So when I was on Twitter ranting and raving, these were the reasons why. Sometimes you wake up in the morning and you say to yourself, why are we dealing with this? Why are we faced with this? Um, I don't know what this means. Hold on. Hold on a second, guys. I don't know what this means. Um, can you hear me? Can you hear me clear? Can you tell me if you hear me clear? Can you just press one if you can hear me? Because I'm not sure, because I'm not using my mic right now. And to be honest, I don't like this mic. That's why I didn't plug it in. So can you hear me? Can you press one if you can hear me? Press two, press something. Okay, cool. You can hear me? Okay, great. Because I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. I was gonna look on my phone and see if I can hear myself, but I wasn't sure. Am I clear? Am I clear? Just hit me with a one if I'm clear. Because I can't. I don't know. I'm gonna upload this video later. I just want it to go live just so I can have the video to post later. So whoever, because I know people have been coming in and out. So I don't know whoever tuned in. Thank you for tuning in. I don't know if I'm gonna post it on Twitter because I haven't done it in a while. Okay, I know who that is. What's up, V? I'm like, I know who that is, Miss Berries. Um, Thank you. Are you coming over tomorrow? Okay, let me see. I was talking about the issues in New York City, and well, no one wants to talk about it. Everyone's acting like it's not a thing. And by the way, um, Rich had his baby. I don't know if you know. He had a girl. I think her name is Maya, Mahalia, Mila. I don't know. It starts with an M. So when you get a chance, you should message him and tell him congratulations. Oh, okay, cool. So I will see you. Um, all right, so I gotta get back on topic because I forgot now. Are you gonna come over tomorrow so we can go live together? That'll be fun. Okay. So, yeah, so that's what's happening. So that's what's happening in New York. So we have inflation, we have rent hikes, we have transportation going up, we have all these things going up. And then we also have Eric Adams. Now, remind you, I don't hate Eric Adams, anything like that. I just don't think that he is for the people. I think that he is a huge distraction and he's going to be a huge complication to how this city moves forward. Now, remind you, I'm a firm believer that because you're a Democrat, you don't have to vote Democrat. You should feel free to vote for whoever has your best interest at heart and the best interest of like the community you live in or the borough that you live in. Because I'm gonna tell you, all Democrats aren't good and all Republicans aren't good. It's a mixed batch. So you really have to do the work. You really have to look into who you're voting for, because being black is not good enough, okay? Because someone is black, do not vote for them because they're black. Because I'm telling you, that means nothing. Just because you have the skin, your skin is the same as theirs, you say, oh, we have something in common. Absolutely not, because we all come from different backgrounds, no matter if we have the same skin color. Because he looks like us, it doesn't mean he is for us at all. Super facts. Yeah. So, with that being said, so I do think that New York City is falling apart, and it's years and years and years of bad budgeting, bad, just everything was bad. We could take it back to George Pataki, okay? If you guys don't know, I learned this maybe 2 years ago, and I'm going to share this. This man, okay, he's not horrible, but what he did with this money, oh, you know how like in the hood we say he fumbled the bag? Okay, he fumbled the bag. And I'm gonna tell you why. So back in the 90s, he was allocating for funding, right? From Albany, which is the capital, the state of New York. So they gave him all this money. And this money was supposed to go towards all these different infrastructures in the city, all these things, including the MTA transit systems, right? So what they did was they put the money into getting machines and going from tokens. You can watch it. From going from tokens to Metro cards. Okay, cool, good investment, right? But what he didn't do with the money was repair the roads, repair the bridges, okay? He also had the opportunity to fund the hospitals. And let's face it, in the year 2012-ish, New York City lost over a dozen hospitals. Don't you think it's terrible that in Queens, Far Rockaway, there's only one hospital? One. That's called years of bad budgeting. Now, I'm not going to just blame it on George Pataki. I'm not going to just say it's his fault, because after that, we had Bloomberg, who also fumbled the bag. Then we had Bill de Blasio, who fumbled the bag partially. I'm going to give him halfway, simply because he did invest in affordable housing, which is great. And developers love the idea of it because they get a tax break, which is also not a bad thing. However, the percentage of affordable housing is so low. Imagine a building with 100 families and only 4 families can afford to live there under the Affordable Housing Act, right? Under Bill de Blasio. Now, remind you, in certain neighborhoods, they force gentrification. So if you go to certain parts of Queens where they have affordable housing, your salary can be $40,000 and below. If you go to Chelsea or the Soho area where there's new developments, you're required to bring in a minimum of 100,000, 120,000. So who is affordable housing really targeting? It's targeting people to keep a certain type of demographic in specific areas. Now, I'm not trying to say that, it's the worst thing in the world, but it's definitely not the best thing either, because why should we constantly have this type of like discrimination where certain people who make a certain amount of money are not allowed to live in certain areas? If affordable housing is going to be affordable across the entire board, that means it should be affordable to everyone, regardless of your income or your nationality. Now, remind you, back in the early 80s, when Donald Trump was what they called the king of New York, because he had so many new developments, he was like a real estate guru. Thanks to a $1 million loan from his father, by the way. And if you want to know how his father got money, dude ran a brothel. Okay. Yes, he had women prostituting and giving him money. That's how he got his money. The Vanderbilts, a little different. They were tycoons. They had the oil industry on lock. One of the family members of the Vanderbilts is Anderson Cooper from CNN, which I'm guessing most of you guys didn't know. That's a fun fact. But rewind to the 80s. So Donald Trump at this point, he's like buying all this real estate. He's buying spots in Atlantic City. In fact, he spent like $3 million on a vacant lot in Atlantic City, and he never built anything on it. Now, as he's going around buying all this land and all these buildings, he has a bomb. When I say bomb, he has like an amazing investment that he had. And I believe it could have been in Brooklyn or it could have been in Queens. He definitely was discriminating. Okay. He made it very clear he didn't want any welfare recipients in his apartment complex. He also wanted people to make a certain amount of money. And he had a description of the type of people he didn't want. And let's just say the description pretty much meant a lot of Blacks and Hispanics. So that's why sometimes people go back and be like, I think Donald Trump is racist. Because when he pulled that little stunt, it was a little racist. It was a lot racist, actually. But with that being said, he got sued by the city. And I think he was sued by the state. And let's just say the family received settlements. No, remind you, families, because there was more than one. So they received settlements, and along with these settlements, they're not allowed to, one, write a book about it. They're not allowed to do a movie about it. They're not allowed to do interviews about it. They're not allowed to do a documentary about it. This is all part of the settlement. Basically, the Trump enterprise said, listen, we were wrong. We discriminated. And guess what? We're going to give you this money, but you're not allowed to talk about it if you accept this money. So imagine if you have nothing, right? You don't have a good job. You don't have a house. You don't have nothing, right? You're going to take the money. So the reason why most people don't know this story is because these families are not allowed to talk about it. However, the archives from the LA Times and the New York Times published the story. So if you want, you can actually read the story, but you have to pay a fee through the New York Times website, which I advise you to not pay because I paid a fee one time and half of the article is missing. So don't do it. Maybe some of them might have full articles, but the one I had, I thought it was a full article and it wasn't, and they paid me. And they charged me. So be careful with that. So yes, he is the worst. He is the worst. And a lot of people feel like he's better than Biden or he's better than this person. I don't believe there's a better than at this point at all. I don't think so. And off topic, but you see this pimple? I feel like it's getting redder and bigger by the day. So feel free to call me Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer come tomorrow because I'm sure it's gonna be bigger and it's gonna be redder. So I have so many people come in and out of this chat, and I appreciate it because honestly, I haven't done a live stream in so long. I was just talking to someone about how I used to do the Justin.tv, and I used to do like all these like streaming things, and I used to have so much fun. I used to have a blast. So this was like very reminiscent and very nostalgic for me to go live today. So that's how I feel about New York City, for sure. That's how I feel. That is how I feel. And I don't think it's going to get better with Eric Adams. I think it's going to get worse. Facts. It's only going to get worse. And can we talk about how YouTube doesn't let me stream no more through Safari, like go live through Safari? I had to download Google Chrome on my computer, and I barely have space. Go figure. Go figure. Yeah, I don't like him. I don't like Eric Adams at all. I will say I voted for him in the primary, but in the official election, I voted for, Guardian Angel. I voted for them. Well, I say them because they're a team, but I voted for, what's his name? Curtis Sewell. I think I said it right. I always say his last name wrong. Oh, and by the way, Ken, I thank you for the opportunity to go on your podcast. I really, really look forward to it. I will send the bio and you can pick the topic. I just haven't had a chance to I when you sent the DM, I noticed it, but I didn't even click on it. But I can see the sentence or the question or whatever. So I do want to do it. I definitely want to get on your podcast. Clearly, I have a lot to say. Especially when I get to bash New York City officials because they're trash. So I do want to go on your podcast really soon. I don't know if we do it remotely or do I have to be there in person? Because I don't know. I've been trying to do remote podcasting for a while. I don't even really know how to do it. I downloaded like several different apps to try to do it, and I just could not get the hang of it. So maybe you know something I don't, but I do want to do the podcast for sure. Um, I don't know, Juana, I don't know who that was. They was in here earlier. I don't know, but thank you for tuning in. If you're still here or not, appreciate it. Thank you for popping up. Um, thank you. I'm going to I'm down for whenever. Through Zoom? Oh, I'm down for Zoom. I'm always on Zoom with my therapist now, so I am good to go. By the way, Merry Christmas. I should say something very merry today, but I've had to be honest, today has been a whirlwind. My emotions have been up and down. So I don't feel like, and I'm in the Christmassy spirit. I know it's not a word, but I love to make them up. I'm not in the Christmassy spirit, but I'm going to try to get there. I'm trying. I'm gradually getting there. Yeah, today was like all over the place for me. Is that her? So, tell me more about your podcast because I know we've talked about it before. So, like, what made you? I feel like I'm interviewing you now, if you don't mind. We will schedule the interview definitely between January. Oh, I'm cool. January, I'm good to go. My classes start back on the 15th and the 17th. I get a preview on the 15th. Class start on the 17th. So anytime before that, I'm down to go because my laptop is never too far away. So yeah, Christmas is weird right now. It's like I think it's weird because my personal life is in shambles. But other than that, it's not as weird. Maybe because of COVID, slightly weird. Yeah. So, okay, yeah, I'm about to interview you now. So, my questions are like, what made you start your podcast? And what is it about? Because we've talked a little bit about it, but what is the backstory? That's what I want to know. The backstory. I have to pee. Disregard my nails, by the way, they're chipped. I like to be imperfect. I do. I used to feel so much pressure to be perfect. Now I'm starting to be okay with not being okay and not being perfect. For sure. Let me see. Oh, it's cool. Agreed. This Christmas is terrible. I'm waiting for you to respond. It's going to be like a slight delay through this stream for me. I really got to pee. And I'm hungry. Hungry. Well, I'm waiting for you to respond. And when you respond, oh, there we go. Okay, so Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast is a podcast where I interview people pretty much if you have a story to tell or if they have a brand they want to go. It's pretty much an outfit where people I know can have a platform. Oh, cool. That's dope. A lot of people I know can. Yeah. Did you started that before COVID, correct? Because I know you have a lot. You be having a lot of things going on. I always know, like before with the club promotions and like things like that. So I know like you're like very connected and you're always like involved with stuff, and I think that's dope. So I yeah, I do look for like I definitely want to do your podcast because I mean, I think I just want to talk about for me, I feel like the topic I want to talk about is women and self-esteem because a lot of the times women were forced to like be perfect and people are quick to identify our imperfections and it can like definitely like weigh you down, especially like women. I be weighed down sometimes, especially now we're in a generation of these big butts and big titties and perfect slim stomachs. And I'm telling you, and then it's always temptation. Like men can't stay solid because they just be too tempted by like unrealistic goals and unrealistic looking people that are manufactured, you know. So that's probably what I want to talk about, clearly. Venting. Let me see. Personal stories, spin off series about old school stuff, conversation about music and dating. So if you're into music, I know a guy named Eric on this date in hip hop, and he's a music head, super music head. And he will be a great person for you to interview because I think he's a music teacher by day. He runs the Honest Day in Hip Hop website daily. He has a Instagram account the same on his date in hip hop, and he just loves music. He raps. He also have a little clothing line. He makes like shirts and stuff. Like he's like definitely doing everything. Like he's just so invested in everything, and he's definitely a person you should talk to. He's so insightful, and he's a cool dude. He's from the West Coast. He's from the West Coast. If you don't follow him on Instagram, I'm gonna I don't know if that's something you want to do, but I'm gonna see if he's available to ever do a podcast with you because that would be a good look. He's like a real good person to talk to. Um yeah, so you started this before COVID. Okay, cool. Before COVID, January 2019. You want to know something? COVID wiped me out because I forget like I don't even know what year it started because I feel like a whole year slipped away. The whole year slipped away from me. So you started because radio was always something you wanted to do. I was afraid to start it because of childhood trauma with being bullied and stuff. Really? Why were you being bullied? Because I too was bullied for a long time. I've talked about it before, like on social media. But why were people bullying you? I mean, only answer it if you're comfortable answering it. If you're not comfortable, you don't have to. But what did you do? Well, if you want to answer it, you can. But if not, how did you overcome the bullying? Like what did you do? Because I think like with me when it came to bullying, I don't know. I don't even know how I overcame it. I just thank God that I did. I don't know what I did. Every day was a struggle. Um, Artist on the show send me this info. Oh, okay. Oh, you need. Okay, so you need artists. Okay. Yeah. So he does the music thing, but then he's like trying to brand himself. He's trying to get into like video stuff like YouTube, his YouTube channel, whatever. He's trying to do all different things. Like that's what I'm saying. Like with him, it's no avenue that he won't try. He's trying to be that person that has multiple platforms, have multiple sources of income. Um, and yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's like a really good person for you to talk to. He's like an entrepreneur. And he kind of like did this all on his own too. Like it wasn't like anyone that helped him or pushed him. He just woke up one day and figured like, let me do this. So yeah, his name is Eric, and it's at on this date in hip hop. ON THISDATE. INHIPHOP. That was a very long word to spell out, so don't think I can't read. It's just too much. That's just too long of a handle name for me. Oh, so the bullying was because you were quiet, you had a speech problem as a kid, you overcame it by fighting back and just not letting it go to me anymore. I spoke about it on my show. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's dope. Okay, DNELIG. Okay. So, oh, okay. So I can understand how that could make you not want to get into like radio or like anything if you feel like, you had speech problems. Don't feel bad because everybody has something that they're going through or something about them that's not perfect, but sometimes it'd be like those things that make you perfect or unique or like different compared to other people. So sometimes what you look at as a con is also like a pro. Sometimes you just don't see it until it's time for you to see it. I know someone who is what you call it, is deaf, and you know her deafness doesn't hold her back. Like, she's still in the medical field, she's still helping people, she's learned sign language, like she's done all these things. Like, she's like a great person to work with or work for. She's very beneficial to the hospital she works at. She is a huge attribution to that hospital. So I say that to say that you could do anything you want. Mm, let me see. And that is a cool thing that you actually talked about it, because there's so many people that's going through what you went through. I sometimes find myself, like, when I feel like I'm going through something, I go on YouTube and I find videos of people who are going through the same things. Not to validate my feelings, but for me to kind of realize that other people are going through it, and just to see how they can handle it. Because sometimes I used to go there to validate it, because I used to be like, why do I feel like this or whatever? And then I go on YouTube and I find a person who has the same medical condition I have. And then I see, like, oh my God, her feelings are exactly like mine. She's going through exactly what I'm going through. She's literally saying the words that I'm saying. And the only thing I'm looking for is not the validation to prove that I should feel this way, but more so like, how does she handle it? How does she move forward the next day? Like, that's what I look for. I look for, like, just figuring out a way to move forward. So every time like people share stories like that, it's like important and it's inspiring, because everybody needs to hear it. Everybody. Let me see. And by the way, you're killing it with your podcast. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you for listening to my podcast. I appreciate it. I it's so weird because I've done 3 seasons, but I refuse to pay to keep my podcast episodes up, because I feel like I have them saved on my computer anyway. But it's just like, I don't know. Maybe I should start paying to like store them, but I don't know. I don't know. I try to be very transparent. That's like my favorite word, but I try to be transparent and straightforward and honest all the time. All the time. So I hope my YouTube channel and my podcast reflects that, because that's what I'm trying to do. Um let me see. All right, you're killing with the podcast and YouTube. Keep doing big things. I remember when you was doing from back in the days. Oh my God, you remember that? Oh my God. Yes, I was on Ustream. And I was on Justin.tv, me and Julito from The Wire. Do you remember? Oh my God, we used to be on there. It used to be me. Were you on the Ustream when it was me, J.R. Smith, Julito? Um, who else was on there with us? J.R. Smith's brother, I think, was on there. Oh my God. Those were the days. Those were the days. They were so good. They were so good. We used to have so much fun on there. My friend Jamal used to be on there with us too, but he just would never mic up or cam up. He was corny. Um, I'm using Buzzsprout. I use Buzzsprout. I can't believe you said Ustream. Oh my god, you see the smile on my face? I used to be such a oh my god, I was such a streamer. And it's weird because Twitch wasn't a thing back then, but I think if it was, I would be like I think more people would know me because I was on there streaming like a maniac. I used to look so forward to getting on the stream. We were crazy. Which one are you using? Oh, so you started promoting around that time and you found me random LOL. I think so. It was a lot. Yes. It's a long time ago. All right. I'm going to switch then. Since you're telling me, I'm going to switch to that. I'm going to switch. I know that name. I saw that name before, but I don't know. I don't know. I always had Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout was free, and now they start changing and charging for storage and audio storage and all that other nonsense. But yeah, maybe I'll check that out. Oh my god, I can't believe you said Ustream. Oh my god. Does Ustream still exist? I don't even remember the day I got off the Ustream. I know it was either Justin.tv and then I moved to Ustream, or I started with Ustream and then I moved to Justin.tv. I don't know which one it was. I do remember I got on Justin.tv because at the time Julito was on Justin.tv and he kind of put me onto it. And I think he got put onto it because Justin, Diddy's son, Justin Combs, because Justin used to go on there with them all the time. And then that's kind of how we all ended up on there. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know if Ustream is still around. I'm curious though, because that is nuts. Oh my god. Oh my god. That name. Oh gosh. I was on there. I remember I was talking about video games. I was talking about life. Then I would randomly have people on there. Then we all used to cam and mic up and be on there talking crazy. Oh my god, it was such a vibe. You know what's so weird? My friend Ivan met his girlfriend on there. Well, they're not together anymore, but during that time, I had put Ivan onto it, and then he met his girlfriend. I think she lived in Jersey at the time. She used to mic and cam up with us, and the next thing you know, they started dating. So that was a cute little love story. It lasted for a while, and then they broke up. But good things happened on Ustream back then. I never found love on there though, but a lot of people did. I was on there for networking, connections, stuff like that. There was so many videos I had saved on those platforms that I wish I would have downloaded them and just to keep them because they were funny, but oh well, they long gone. Ustream, oh my gosh. And you want to know something? I appreciate that because I appreciate that. Let me see. I was too shy to do that back then. Really? Oh my God. So I used to be shy too. And I became more shy because when J.R. Smith, well, at the time he was playing for the Denver Nuggets. So he wasn't all that big. He was like, just he was young and new to the team. So he was like popular, but not that popular. Um, but still I knew who he was. So when we would go on the stream, I used to be so shy to get on camera. I used to be like so shy because so many people would tune in. So when we all be on camera, I used to be like, oh my God, there were times where I wanted to do my makeup or do something. But I just started getting very comfortable in front of the camera. So that's what happened. But I feel you. I was shy too. You just get used to it. But like Ustream was really bomb and Twitter was really bomb back then because that's how I met so many people. That's how I met Trell on Instagram, the one that's with Heather. I met him because he used to work with Tyga. So I think you know the story because it was all on Twitter before. So that's how I met him because he was with Young Money at the time. That's when Young Money was like a thing. That's when Nicki was like first signed. So Trell was and by the way, Trell is with No Jumper right now. He's with Adam and them on No Jumper. When you get a chance, go to the No Jumper YouTube channel. Trell is on there now, which is so crazy. But he needs to be on that show because Trell is like so honest and he's like he's so cool. He's so cool. But I met him back in the days. He was with Young Money and he was working with Tyga. And want to say hi, camera? He was yeah, he was with Tyga and he would come to New York sometimes. And I remember one time we linked up in Brooklyn at the hotel and it was right after Tyga had a performance. And we just had a good time. We had a really good time. Where you about to go? What's over there? Um, um but yeah, good times. But yeah, like back then I was only on those things because I was networking. I was networking and I thought it was like important for me to like be on there. But I will tell you, a lot has changed since then because, like I said, Terrell is on. His real name is Terrell. I call him Trell, but he's on Adam No Jumper right now. I'm telling you, life is crazy. And look at J.R. Smith now. He done had a whole NBA career. Back in college, playing golf, had a whole 4.0 last semester. So I mean, sky's the limit. Like that's what I'm saying. You're doing your podcast and all these things. And, now I hope you're not shy anymore, but put yourself on camera and just, put yourself out there because it's like your life can change. It may not change when you want it to, but it changes like within time. Cause like look at Terrell and them, like it's just mind boggling. Like how life has like, and then he has a girlfriend, Heather. She runs the Sorella boutique in Melrose in LA. And they are doing a thing. They're doing a thing right now. And I remember when Heather moved from Texas to move to LA to live with Terrell, and they had like a little small apartment and all that. And now she got her own store on Melrose. She got her e-commerce. Her website is popping. She's hitting them numbers. He's doing his thing with No Jumper, Adam. Like it's just telling you, but it's like nothing happens overnight. It's just time. Time. That's all it is. It's patience and time and networking and meeting the right people, connecting. That's what it is. I do my Mr. Gentleman Fact Quote of the Day every Mondays on my IG page, and I post some of my interviews on YouTube. Do you? Are you afraid to get on camera now? Are you not shy anymore? Yes, time and hard work. Well, I have somebody here that raps. You want to set one up with him? When he comes back, he's about to step out. You can interview him on your podcast. He's from Philadelphia and he just walked out. So when he comes back, I'll let him get on camera. He might not want to get on camera though, but I'll tag you in his Instagram. Let me see. Do I have it? Okay. He's still shy. I hope I encourage you to not be shy though. Don't be shy. Get on the camera. Get on the camera. What's his that's so bad, I can't think of his Instagram. What's your Instagram? Is it, oh, got it. Alrighty. There you go. I tagged you. All right. Sorry. Yeah, we could set that up. I usually prepare myself before an interview, so I won't say the wrong thing. So if anything, we could set that up in a future episode. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Sounds good. So I tagged you in his info. Um, I'm sure he will probably do it because it'll be good promotion for him because he's a rapper. Let me see. Alrighty. So I'm gonna sign out. I'll be back soon. I'm pretty sure I will edit this. Well, not edit it, but I will post this online. But thanks for tuning in. I'm coming back on in probably like an hour or two. I just have to pee and put my phone on the charger and my laptop. So, if you want, oh my God, can you promote for me? Just tag some people to come back on like in about an hour. Um, okay. All right, thank you. I'm about to log out right now and I'm gonna DM you on Instagram. All right, bye.